Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Honey Do Me Podcast. I'm Cass.
And I'm Emma, and this is our podcast where we talk about relationships, friendships, sex life, masturbation life. We talk about everything that makes you you and everything in between, I guess.
Yeah. Everything in your heart, in your vagine, and in your butthole.
Your butthole.
And also,
although we're trying to do a little less butthole this year.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like shifting away from butthole a little bit. Just like, I mean, our buttholes. We'll talk about other people's.
Okay, so I am in my apartment, and I just could only imagine sometimes what like the one-sided conversation sounds like out my window or like down my hall when I'm like little less butthole this year. And then it's just, I just think about that sometimes because my windows are wide open.
Well, it's not everyone's New Year's resolution, but it is ours. So
it is ours. So whatever. What's new and improved? Anything fun and funky on the dance line? What was that whole sentence?
It was phenomenal. No. No. No.
That's great. It's October. It's almost Halloween. That's fun.
It is.
Do you have a Halloween costume that you're thinking about?
Probably a witch.
That's
Probably
fun.
a witch. That feels right. Just pull some stuff out of the old closet and make it happen, baby.
What is your favorite Halloween costume you've ever done?
I was rainbow bright when I was around 3 years old. My mom made the costume from scratch. When I was walking downtown, a child asked me if I was the real Rainbow Bright and asked me to make rainbows. And I took the star sparkles that my mom shoved into my pockets and I threw them in the air. And she was amazed. It was the best moment of my life. It also set me up for a very... It set a very high bar for Halloween costumes after that because the next year I told my mother I wanted to be Sleeping Beauty, but sleeping. I wanted her to roll me around on a stretcher.
Oh my God, you diva.
She didn't.
No. You simply can't trick or treat that way.
You simply can't. So yeah,
What if there's
Rainbow
stairs?
Bright.
That's fun. Wow, from 3 years old. I don't know. I really liked your love costume last year or 2 years ago.
I was like,
but
many years ago at this point.
I know. That was the last time we had Halloween together.
Yeah, that's my favorite adult costume I think we've done.
Love from you.
I was Love. My husband was Joe Goldberg, and it was so good. It fit us really well. It was like a really good, it just fit us. What's your favorite costume you've ever done? Childhood and then adult.
Childhood would be Napoleon Dynamite.
How old were you when you were Napoleon?
I was in 3rd grade, I think. So whatever that is. What is that, like 12 maybe?
I have no idea. I don't think it's 12.
I could either be 8 or 15.
8. I think it's like 8.
Okay. I was in 3rd grade. My dad found moon boots at Goodwill. They're blue. Obviously. And I had jeans. We made a Vote for Pedro shirt with like iron-on letters. And then I had the wig and I had glasses and I got to walk to class like Napoleon Dynamite. And that was really fun.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect outfit. I tried to recreate that a couple years ago with us, but then our like Halloween got canceled because COVID.
Well, your stupid ex-boyfriend got COVID.
Ex-boyfriend that got COVID. And ruined my birthday. It was sabotage.
Honestly.
He never put me first.
Yeah. Ruined a portion of your life. But you know what?
Kind of did.
We're
Everything
growing.
that was good in my life.
Forward.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I'm supposed to move past that.
Oh, right. Bless them and move on.
Bless and release. As an adult, I haven't really dressed up too much. So I think it would be my Avril Lavigne costume because that was super fun. That I did a couple years ago. Except I have a friend's birthday party this weekend and it's swag era themed. It's not Halloween, but it's like I have to dress up. So, 2010s LMFAO vibe.
Oh, like with the glasses with the lines?
Yeah. So it's like that type of thing. So I need to get something for that, which that could be really fun. Also, I think it'd be really comfy.
Yeah. Also, like the grossest era. You know what I mean? Just like aesthetically. Ew.
Grungy. I'd smell like pink perfume, not necessarily Victoria's Secret perfume, but like pink. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I'll have to like workshop some ideas for that one.
I don't know if I've told this story before, but have you ever just looked up pink.com? Because it doesn't come up with Victoria's Secret pink. And when I was like 13, I was trying to look up Victoria's Secret pink on my like grandparents' computer in the living room.
Uh-oh.
It was
it
pornography.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to try on my phone right now.
Okay.
Let's see.
It could be different. I could have searched something more specific. I don't know, but I know I was looking for Victoria's Secret pink.
They must not have upgraded because I did pink.com and it took me straight to Victoria's Secret pink. So
good.
maybe it just wasn't high tech enough back then and it took you just to like wee-wees and woo-woos.
They knew. Victoria's Secret took it into
tech.
their hands to save the 13-year-olds of the world.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah, so.
That's funny.
It was alarming to be in the living room. And
that is really scary.
See that happen.
But we live and we learn.
Yeah, we live and we learn. Anything new with you?
Yes. Besides having just run a half marathon over the weekend? No, nothing.
Oh, superstar.
I know. That was really fun. I've been training for like 4 months with a few of my friends, and I did my city's half marathon, and it felt great, and it was fun, and everyone, there were among aid stations that were sponsored by the event, there were people who were just like in their neighborhood who came out and had like beer stands. There was hot dog stands. There was pickle juice stands. And like, it was so silly. Dog? No, I had none of that, but I took videos of all of them.
Okay.
But I was like, I'm going to barf if I do that.
Yeah.
But it was just so cute to see how many people were excited for strangers. And it was really fun. And my dad surprised me and he came and watched. That was cute.
Congratulations. You fucking killed it. You've done so many cool things this year. Like,
thank you.
Truly, so many cool things.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying. But among one of them isn't dating. And that has made me a little insecure. But that has led to our amazing episode that we're having today.
This is such a good episode. It is with Lily Womble, the creator of Date Brazen and the author of Thank You More Please. I don't even know how to encapsulate this episode other than like it's joy. Like your dating life can be joyful and just filled with joy, and you don't have to be on the apps, and it can feel good and you can feel empowered. And I don't know, even as somebody who is not dating, this episode made me feel so good and just like want to take life by the balls. You know what I mean?
And say, let's fucking do it. Like that's the vibe. It's not, I feel bad for you. It's not, dating is so hard. It's not fuck dating, focus on yourself. It's like, if you want to do it, let's fucking do it. And let's figure out how. Apps probably don't work for you if you're at this point. Let's date in real life and let's have so much fun and let's have authentic connections, which is what I love about Lily. It's just, it was a refreshing message on dating, I think.
Agreed. And she gave Emma like a point by point dating plan.
I didn't pay for. Like, what?
It is, and it's so good. I feel like everybody can take bits and pieces from that and apply it to themselves.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
And as like many of our favorite episodes, there's things that like come out that you're like not even noticing. And then you get like your own personalized coaching on these like deep subconscious messages that you keep telling yourself. And so lots of that happened throughout this episode. And like Cass said, I got a point by point plan for like my dating, like what I'm looking for and then how to go after it. It was just so incredible, so helpful. The best coach out there. I think.
There's something for everyone in this episode. And we did ask her about like cute fall dates, and she gave us the best possible answer she could have ever given. And I'm not going to give it away. So stick around for that towards the end of the interview.
Yeah. We'll see you on the other side.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, y'all. I'm Lily Womble. I'm an intersectional feminist dating coach, the author of Thank You More Please, a feminist guide to breaking dumb dating rules and finding love, and the founder of Date Brazen. And I help badass feminist humans build dating lives that feel like an act of self-care and that lead to extraordinary partnership.
That is like a gold sentence in this dark, dark world of dating.
It's hard. So I have a job. It's tough.
You're like the answer to Emma's prayers right now.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly who we've been looking for. So I'm really excited for this.
Thank you, more
We're
please, to that sentence. That's lovely to hear. I'm ready to talk about it all.
amazing. Well, we're so excited to jump in. So, in general, right now, dating, like the vibe of dating overall just feels so blah. Like it makes me want to not be there. So why is
Yeah.
the tone so bleh right now in the dating world?
Yeah. So, I mean, dating apps all suck pretty
Mm-hmm.
equally. We've hit the like 11-year mark of having a swipe left, swipe right model. So our brains and bodies, one is using a dating app or has in the past 10, 11 years, it's exhausting. Okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
exhausting to our nervous systems. Our brains weren't built to ingest that much data at any given moment. So our cognitive functioning is lowered, our higher functioning is lowered, cognitive overload sets in. Like that's tough, right? And then there's the standard of behavior on dating apps or in the dating space, which I believe due in part to the cognitive overload and the just immense amount of choice and the addiction to possibility. We have a lot of bad behavior, like a lot of ghosting, a lot of dick pics that are unacceptable. And I think that also the conversation about dating and the way that people, specifically people who are socialized as women, the way we were taught to date is still stuck in the patriarchal dark ages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, dating apps suck, and that is a huge part of the conversation. Yes, people are less used to dating IRL because post like lockdown, social skills have eroded. Both and I do think the way that I was taught to date as a woman in the deep South not that long ago was shrink your needs, want less, you're too much, tone it down, be less sensitive, and just settle down with somebody good enough because that's all you can hope for in this world. And so
Brutal.
that narrative led me into an adulthood where I was a late bloomer. I felt behind all of my peers. I didn't have sex until I was 25. And I also really felt behind all the time and ended up settling in a relationship, in a situationship/relationship that was like so epically bad. But I stuck around because he liked me and because I thought that I needed a relationship to prove to myself that I was worthy of one. And so I think that dating sucks for all of those reasons, the way we were socialized, patriarchal socialization, dating app culture, and a poo-poo platter of other things. But what are y'all's thoughts?
A poo-poo platter. I completely agree with what you're saying, and it is so reassuring to hear why the dating world sucks in those terms, because those seem like such facts. I would love a little bit more on the science of what you said about how we're not like cognitively like used to ingesting all that, because I love knowing more about the why this like
Yeah.
chemically hurts my brain to date on the
Yeah.
apps.
Yeah,
If you could expand
absolutely.
a little bit more on that. That was so
So
interesting.
Absolutely. I cite a couple studies in my book about like cognitive overload specifically and how our brains were. I mean, we see this with like TikTok and like every fucking thing that is on our phones, that our brains like literally get overwhelmed. I mean, it's why using one example, it's why phone numbers in the United States at least are 7 numbers, because we as humans can remember 7 numbers. 7 plus or minus 3 is the number that like after which our brains can't hold that much data at one time and like remember it. And so if we're thinking about the expectation that people are placing on themselves to remember conversations, to remember faces, and then we get into like our mirror neurons and we love faces. Like humans love to see other people's faces and we mirror them, and like mirror neurons are firing off whenever we see faces. Both and we see faces that trigger us also, that look like our ex, or that, so that is overwhelming and taxing. And so the dating apps, they're publicly traded companies. Their job is to make more money for their shareholders, period. And so they are incentivized to make their platforms more and more addictive. They are not incentivized to help their users set boundaries that would preserve their mental and emotional health. There was a study that also showed that amongst folks in their 20s, I can get this study to you after if you're interested, those who were already prone to anxiety and depression, that increased with dating app usage. And so it can be really bleak. And that's why I think that dating apps are just one piece of the giant dating puzzle. And I think IRL dating has to take a bigger role in our dating lives, our love lives in general. I met my partner IRL after doing this like deeper work of owning my main character energy and like breaking it off with my ex and really stepping into owning my preferences and like realizing I was queer and realizing that I like wanted to take up more space in this world. And that freedom and that like permissiveness that I got to give myself allowed me to like be more boundaried on apps, have more fun IRL, give my number to cute strangers, and then ultimately meet my now husband in person. So it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm. That's like the dream. I can't wait to get to that part of the episode where we chat about all that stuff.
I'm so glad that you're naming all of these things of why it does suck and why it is hard and why, you know, we are all feeling so shitty in this scenario. Because I think a lot of times socially, the idea is like, well, if you don't have somebody, there must be something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like if it's not working, like why are you still single? Like why haven't you found I don't know. It's like really gross and it puts the issue back on the individual.
Can we just name that so many people we know are in shitty relationships? Yeah. Period. I mean, it's like, I hope for every coupled person ever that they feel fulfilled and wonderful in their romantic relationship. And the truth is, especially people who are socialized as women, we are not taught. We are taught how to people please in order to be safe, how to caregive in order to be safe, generally. This is exacerbated for folks who have marginalized identities, who are queer or who are Black or are literally having so many marginalized identities to contend with, in which they are oppressed for that identity daily. Like, I'm a white cis woman, and I experienced this like, you should want less belief being pushed upon me all the time. But I digress. I think that coupled is not ahead of single. And that needs to be said again and again and again. I think our world treats coupled as ahead of single. And if we look at why that is, we need more babies for the workforce, need more labor. So there's this like top-down pressure for women to settle down with good enough, pop out babies, get married, spend money on their wedding. And so I think kind of it's not a conspiracy. I think it's fact, but I kind of think like big picture, of course we treat single women as behind. And of course that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross.
So gross. I'm single and I constantly feel behind, like the farther into my 20s I get, and I'm on the cusp of my last year in my 20s. And as you're saying,
Happy
like,
birthday.
Thank you. And as you're saying, wanting less, and no one's telling me this. I was watching a TikTok on this earlier today, and I resonated so deeply where it's like, no one's outright saying you need to expect less. But as I get older, it almost feels like you're ticking. You should want less so that you can settle down because, I don't know, your life is you're only able to, this was also on the TikTok, you're only able to settle down and be comfy in like a slow, luxurious life once you're partnered. So like if you're doing that as a single person, you're like have given up on dating and you've kind of given up in general. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a really harmful narrative, right? That like not like, first of all, of course people need breaks from dating. Like it's exhausting and can be existentially exhausting. And I do think that that's why I love being a feminist dating coach. It's like there's this myth wafting around that wanting a relationship makes you less of a feminist, less independent, less of a badass. You're desperate if you want something, and you're a loser if you don't have it already, right? Like, and then wanting a relationship is like, then you're a pick-me girl. And like, and you are doing something wrong in that way. And I just think neutralizing all of this shit and just saying like, it's okay to want what you want. And it's also totally true that you're whole with or without a romantic relationship. It is completely false that you can't live a whole and fulfilling and wonderful life as a single person.
Yeah.
Both and you get to want what you want. So might as well figure out how to go after it with agency and confidence and boundaries and joy to settle proof your whole life.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, seriously.
What do you want to know?
How do we transition from feeling like dating is something we should be doing into something that we want to be doing? Because right now, if it does, like you're saying, it feels like both and to me. It's like, I feel like dating is something I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of want to do it, but only in a way that's very easy and very low effort. And also, I don't want to do it on the apps, but I want to feel excited about dating people again, but I'm not there yet. So kind of
Where
how
are you
do
right
we...
now, if you don't mind sharing?
I've been single, oh my God, almost 2 years now. And last year, I would say I tried dating more. I don't think I've gone on like one. No, I've been on a couple dates at the beginning of this year, but I'm just like super comfy. I'm comfortable at home. I like reading. I like watching TV. I like my own time. I love hanging out with my friends. And I would love to incorporate dating into that, but I'm just not attracted to people on apps. And it's not like the people on apps. It's just like I don't process my attraction virtually. So I'm not interested in putting effort into people I'm just seeing online.
Sure.
But
absolutely.
I would love someone to walk into my life and ask me out on a date. That's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. So I would be happy to outline like a plan.
Let's do it. I love being coached on this podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear.
Happy to help. So chapter 1 of Thank You More Please is about the dating detox, the complete dating detox. And I think in terms of like reawakening your desire for the right partner, not just like dating, but like there's a why beneath. If your why is, I want to have fun hookups, that's a great why. If your why is, I want to have fun hookups and meet a partner, great why. Like I'm not somebody who's saying like, must want husband, wife now. No, like fucking own what you want, whatever that is. I have a client right now who just owns, I want to have a few really meaningful short-term relationships. And I'm like, fuck yes. Like, let's go. So fun. That's doable. Okay. Own what you want. Then do a dating detox, okay? To get back in touch with that why. Dating detox is 3 steps. It's intentionally detoxing from what I call the dating casino, which is like all the bings and pings and loud noise of dating apps, dating culture, dating TikToks, dating is trash TikToks, everybody talking to you from all these different places, okay? You got to detox from that shit. So it's like being in the casino, and the dating detox is like going through the labyrinth of the casino, like exiting out the beautiful doors and seeing the sunlight and being like, oh my God, okay, it's 8 a.m. I didn't know what time it was. You get into this gleaming black limo and you're being taken to the dating detox spa. 3 steps. Number 1, detoxing from dating apps for 30 days. Intentionally deleting them from your phone for 30 days. If you're chatting with anybody, then you can, and you're interested, you can send them your number and be like, hey, I'm getting off the apps. Text me if you want. Bye. That's the first step, is intentionally pausing. It's not a download delete cycle. It's an intentional pause to get back in touch with your inner knowing. Number 2, detoxing from bad dating advice. This means going on a follow cleanse. This means looking through your TikTok feed and being like, what videos do I want to sort of unsubscribe from? Because when you get into the dating is trash TikTok world, it can be validating, can be good to vent, both and. It generally gets you more into confirmation bias mode. Because if you've been on a couple shitty dates, or you haven't been on dates and you're afraid that dates don't exist, then watching a dozen TikToks about how dating is trash for somebody is going to reinforce the narrative that it's over, it's never going to happen, I shouldn't want what I want. So doing a detox from other people's dating advice and dating thoughts that don't really align with resetting is really important. Third and final is, and also that goes for like your mom or your cousin or your coworker who's like, why didn't you met anybody yet? And be like, no, we're not going to talk about that this month. We're not going to talk about dating life. Set a boundary. Third and final step in the detox is detoxing from dating worry. So this is the most difficult one.
Yeah.
And it's so important because what's happening in most people's brains, it's just normal. We have survival stories, we have worries, we have fears. And generally, people are not acknowledging on paper the thoughts that they're having in their brain, high key or low key, all the time. Thoughts that are because acknowledging the thought feels scary. Feels like, oh my God, if I acknowledge that worry, then it feels true. I'd rather just try to toxic positivity my way out of it with an affirmation or with a like, it is possible. What's happening there is a seesaw brain. On one end of the seesaw, you have this thought that's low key, high key going on in your brain. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's never going to happen. I'm going to die alone. It's never going to happen. And on the other end of the seesaw is this like, it is going to happen. It is possible. It's like aggressive opposite energy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So using self-compassion as a tool of like, okay, I acknowledge that my brain is doing a lot of human brain stuff. How human of me. This is normal. I'm not alone. I'm here for you. Getting off the seesaw means acknowledge and like detoxing from the dating worry means doing a thought dump on paper. What are my dating worries right now? Let's put them on paper. Then practicing self-compassion, which is a really practicable force that reduces cortisol and increases resilience from a 2014 study out of Stanford. And self-compassion sounds like kindness towards yourself. Hey, I'm really sorry you're having these worries. These make sense. Of course you're worried. Insert context here. I had a bad relationship. I had a bad date. Number two, with self-compassion is just, I'm not alone. Like I'm in community. Like there are a lot of people struggling with this. And third and final is like, I'm having a lot of thoughts that aren't facts. That's self-compassion. And that dating detox will allow you to like release the stress of being constantly dating or constantly worried about why am I not dating, and then allow you to get back in touch with your inner knowing. So there is a little more possibility, a little more joy on the other end. Practicing the belief like it might be possible that I'm just learning a new way to do this.
Yeah.
So that's the first big step. But what were your thoughts on that?
I think that sounds so helpful. And like, I've been circulating that seesaw on TikTok where it's like dating sucks. Say it like, fuck it. We don't need men. We don't need anyone, which like you're saying feels so validating because it's like, I don't want to date trash people out there. And then the other end of it is like, but be positive and look around the corner because who knows? And I'm like, oh yeah, I should be looking around the corner. And so I've been in this like flux of what should be my attitude when I feel so confused about my attitude. And so I really like the idea of a detox and setting boundaries, even within like conversation and being like, no, let's just like not, because having a new approach to dating sounds like exactly what I need. And I thought I was doing it, but it's still the same cycle in my head.
Yeah, I think that's really normal. And sometimes people do need sort of like an interrupting exercise to interrupt the spiral. And I think 30 days of intentionality with the like thought dump for the detox from dating worry, do a follow cleanse. That takes one hour, like to just be like, okay, here's my intention. Here's who I'm unfollowing. Here's who I'm going to set a boundary with, whether verbally or just for yourself. And then third and final, delete the dating apps just for 30 days. I have a whole podcast episode on this as well. And the first chapter of my book takes you through step by step. And during the dating detox, I recommend people get back in touch with what they really want by claiming their essence-based preferences, which means how do you want to feel in the right relationship? Like instead of kind, funny, smart, which is, or like nice with a job, which is under functioning. Like, I'll just take anybody because nobody exists. Scarcity, under functioning. Or instead of over functioning, rigidity must be this height, this career, this salary, this job title, whatever. That's rigidity. And it's not working and it's cutting you off from opportunity. Come in the middle with like, how do I want to feel in the right relationship? And in the book, I also go through like how to claim your love life vocabulary that is so specific to you that it's like, when somebody asks you, when Cass asks you, okay, what are you looking for, Emma? You can be like, I'm looking for somebody who is joyfully nerdy. And here's my exact definition of that phrase. I'm looking for somebody who is compassionately curious. Here's my exact definition of that phrase, exactly examples of when I feel that way around somebody, right? Using how you want to feel as your metric and your decision-making guide instead of some amorphous, like, I think I want someone who has a graduate degree. It's like, no, how do you want to feel in the right relationship? Get back in touch with that vision. And then I recommend like a shit ton of boundaries when you do start dating after the 30 days. Like do online dating if you want to. It's not necessary. 20 minutes a day max. no notifications, one dating app, not 3, make a joyful dating profile that is so specific. And then IRL dating, you got to tap your friends to be your co-conspirators.
What does that mean?
It means you say to Cass, I'm assuming, I'm just going to just use this as our guide. You say to Cass, do you want to be my co-conspirator? Do you want to like scheme with me for my dating life? And that could mean a myriad of things. That could mean we go out together and you're my wing person. That could mean you bump into somebody, you're like, oh, hi, like, have you met my friend Emma? She's so great. Oh my God. Could mean that. Could mean you debrief with me after dates and really hold space for me. It could mean you are looking out for me everywhere you go for somebody that could meet my essence-based preferences, right? Like having an intentional partner with you, just like your friend asked you to be in their wedding, you deserve to ask your friends to show up for you intentionally too.
Please ask me.
Cassandra, will you be my co-conspirator for my dating life?
Yes. I'm so excited. And Emma knows this, but my mom is already Emma's like little co-conspirator on the side. So if you ever want her to be an additional one, she always comes home to me and she's like, I have this guy for Emma. I have this guy. Here's everything I know about him. And she'll like ask them questions on purpose, like with Emma in mind. And so she's got amazing. A couple like people on deck for you just whenever you're ready.
I think, Emma, once you know your essence-based preferences, it'll be really easy to vet because then you can come up with some like qualifying, disqualifying questions to gauge whether or not somebody has your preferences beyond the surface level stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like you get to be attracted. Like you don't need to go out with somebody whose picture you're like, not at all.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. There has to be some curiosity. Nothing comes from nothing. Like,
right.
So there has to be some curiosity. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm wet, but it has to be like some curiosity for their attraction. And then you can ask like, okay, your mom, Cass, can ask like, these guys, are you single? Obviously. And then like, if you're looking for somebody connective, curious, intellectually curious, like whatever your EBPs are, asking them what's bringing you joy lately will really clue you in. Their answer says a lot about their self-awareness, their access to joy, their growth mindset potentially, who they're close to. Like it can say a lot. So that question is really magical.
Yeah. And if they say golf, it's out. They're out.
Yeah, right? If they're like, yeah, golfing on the green, really bringing me a lot of joy. It's like, well, cool. Doesn't sound right for me.
Yeah.
Whereas if they say, oh my God, I just watched this amazing movie with my friends and like I got on Letterboxd immediately and just like went wild on research. I don't know what the fuck, but somebody who's like passionate, engaged, or like I hung out with my nephews and they were so joyful and I just love hanging out with my family. Or I just read this really incredible book actually, and here's more about it, like you can learn a lot from that question.
I'm pretty sure one of them is like a woodworker, so good with his hands, and like that is something he's passionate about.
Woodworking. I would love to learn how to build a table.
I love wood. I love wood.
Love wood. See, the only problem with the men that Cass's mom usually finds is they're usually like 5 years younger than me.
Why is that a problem?
Because I feel like I don't want to date or have anything in common with a 23-year-old boy.
26, 25, 24. I mean, just 24 if you're turning 29.
Yeah.
I
know, but like
mid-20s. But I get that. I get that.
Boy?
No. I totally get that. I think that A, you get to want what you want.
Yeah.
B, if they had the markers like that you want, right? If you want somebody established in their career who really is like solid in what they do and passionate about what they do and they have a reason behind it. If you want somebody who is right, there are things you can measure to allow in people to surprise you.
Yeah.
But boundaries enough so you're not going out with just anybody.
Right.
This one's older than us, for the record. I'll just get specific with you.
Well, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I would love someone older.
Why are we not figuring this out right now?
I know. I'm kind of thinking that maybe, Emma, you can come visit me and we'll like set up a date.
Yeah. Maybe
like,
we
I
should
think
do
that would be really cool. So
Fun. Thank you more, please.
I just have to
Yes.
pause us for a second and say, Lily, you are like the dream coach because you went like A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and you also said wet. And I just feel like the mixture of those two things is like so exactly what we are looking for in this world. And I'm just really appreciative that we get to have this conversation.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. I knew my audience here. I knew
Yeah.
my community. I was like, your
Absolutely.
podcast title is Honey Do Me. It's like, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
I was like, why don't you put me on that table and eat me like a feast? I don't know.
Yes.
That's from
Spin me like
ACOTAR.
that.
I just
Oh.
read the second one.
Oh, it's the best one.
Not enough sex, I say. It
You
wasn't
just wait.
enough. Don't tell me. I'm really I had to start rereading the final chapter again of the second one because I was just like, oh my God.
Oh, it's so good. I love the second book.
I'm not
so
sleeping.
much.
I'm not
Oh,
sleeping.
you
I'm
can't.
not-
When you're
you
in
can't
those-
able to focus.
Yeah.
It's torture.
Oh,
It is.
it's the best kind of
It's-
torture.
Yeah. I would put
But
myself
think
through it
about all
over
the
and over
time.
again. Ugh,
I mean,
murders me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
good.
so happy that you're in the ACOTAR.
I said
universe.
this to Emma because I read them a little bit before Emma, and I don't know. I would have liked hearing this when I had just gotten through the second book. The very last one, like the fifth book, is my favorite.
Yeah.
Like I thought
That's good
the
to know. There's
second
something to look
would be
forward
my
to.
favorite. I needed something to look forward to after the second, so that's the one thing I will say. I won't spoil, but it
Apparently
is
there's
my
going
favorite.
to be a sixth.
I know. Next year. Well, maybe 2026.
We're gonna
Oh my
be in
God.
it.
Okay.
We're gonna
Amazing.
not. You know what
You're
I
going to
mean?
be
Like
in
in
it.
the
You're going to be
pages.
characters
in
in
the
the book.
pages.
I had to masturbate. Because they were edging me so hard in the second book. I could, and before they had sex, I was just like, this is too much.
I fucking know, man. And masturbating to a book is just like out of this world. That's another
So
thing I don't
fun.
want to like, not that I would have to give it up once I get in a relationship, but as a single person, I can imagine that I'm in the book and that the world is my oyster in terms of partner. Like, who knows? Reese could walk across my world.
Wouldn't
I'm with
you
Reese.
be blessed? Yeah. What is your worry about that? Tell me more. I don't feel like I've touched down on that. So I'm curious because I'm paying attention. I said I masturbated to that part. And then you said, that's something I'm worried about with, I think you said something about like a relationship because what if Reese walks by? What do you mean?
Because as long as I'm single, the perfect person could exist. And
Okay. So you're already
I-
assuming that you're going to settle.
maybe. Maybe I am.
No?
I feel
Am I
like-
wrong? You
no,
can always
you're
toss it
right.
back and be like,
You're very right.
She just
because
got you.
I know. Caught.
it's just like, there's something about this that we need to touch down on.
I think in
Yeah.
every relationship I've been in, shout out, I appreciate you all.
Eh,
But I've always
not all of them
appreciate
deserve
most of
appreciation.
you. But I've always felt a bit of, if this is it, I'll be okay. But like a slight disappointment because I wasn't getting everything I wanted, but I was so desperate to finally be settling down, I think, that I was like, okay, and if this is it, then I'll compromise on that and that'll be okay. I don't have to be completely attracted to them to love them. And that'll be okay. So I think as long as I'm single, my mind is like, you can have everything you want.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's a really interesting thought that your brain
Yeah.
is serving up. I think it's
Yeah.
important to pay attention to those default thoughts.
Mhm.
And that's why I wanted to like investigate this, and we can always move on if you want. But like, that's an opportunity right there. Because
Yeah.
when you say the sentence, as long as I'm single, they could exist. It's like assuming that you've already lost. Like the relationship means that you've lost.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that like that doesn't have to be your future or reality. You can be with somebody who like you're excited to have sex with after reading ACOTAR. Who's like, this is so fun that I get to have sex with somebody I'm so into after reading this book. That's possible. And that's available to you when you start asking for it.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it's always felt like, yeah, not. So that is very encouraging to hear.
Well, in the past, it hasn't been.
Right.
So, of course, your brain would like future cast based on the data that you gathered in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So can I offer,
Yeah.
a piece
Yes,
of
please.
advice? I would just offer put a big yet in that sentence in your brain. I haven't been with somebody who, I haven't met the right person yet, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You haven't been with the right person yet. So why would you center them in whether or not you believed what you wanted was possible in the future?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Decenter men also means decentering the men who are wrong for you in what you believe is possible for your future.
Dang. Okay. That's a good point. Fuck. All right. We're starting now. We're starting today.
Sending you a big hug. I feel like
I love it.
Kind of spicy.
No, I fucking love it. I love when things like that come out during these conversations because a lot, like, especially in relationships and stuff right now, like these are kind of where like my root insecurities are that not a lot of people around me can relate to. So it's great to like get to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I talk about this every single day. Like, come on, let's go. You know,
let's fucking go.
You're not alone.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, that was wonderful. Whew. Okay, well then how do we start meeting people in real life? What the fuck do we do with that?
Okay. So Co-Conspirators is, I love a 3-step plan, obviously. I'm very pro 3-step. So after you do the dating detox, after you claim your essence-based preferences, after you like decide what questions you want to ask somebody, whether you're being set up or you're setting yourself up, what questions you want to ask somebody, I call them QD, qualifying, disqualifying questions. And I have an entire chapter with like 50 plus QD questions organized by preference on like what I recommend asking somebody before a date, on a date. Very organized, type A. Then in-person dating, 3 steps. One is the co-conspirator of it all. Like that's a huge piece. It's like bringing in a friend, bringing in a co-conspirator, having now some people are like Cass, amazing, supportive, game, doesn't say problematic shit, I would imagine. Some people are not like Cass. Some people are going to say shit like, oh, I just don't know anybody single, or like, oh God, you just maybe need to move because I don't know if there's any options. Or some people might say like, are you sure you're not being too picky? Mm-hmm. Those friends exist. They may not be your right co-conspirator, number one. Number two, if you have the kind of relationship where you can set a boundary, I outline in the book like boundaries and scripts to set the boundaries with those statements, whether they come from a friend or not. Like when somebody tells you you're being too picky, it's an oh, no. Like Tom Haverford in Parks and Recreation, like, oh, no to that. Mm-hmm. You can say, hey, I want to come up with creative solutions. I can come up with negative thoughts in my brain all day long. I'm here with you to come up with creative solutions because we're both brilliant. Okay. So having those boundaries in your back pocket, like you get to decide what you put up with in those conversations. And I think people put up with way less than they need to. So that's one. Co-conspirators can be a fun way to meet new people. Imagine your friend is at a work conference. They're looking out for you. Oh my God, they made a cutie. They know what questions to ask them. They know how to text you about it. The second phase of in-person dating is joy building. Joy is connective, period. Like joy is connective. And when you pursue the shit out of your joy outside of your house in ways that you can do that are accessible, and your job in those joy building connectivity activities is to make new friends, new co-conspirators potentially. I've had clients make new friends at a new hobby that they went to, even if it's a pottery class and you're not attracted to anybody at that pottery class, but it brings you so much joy. Your job is to connect with people and to connect with yourself and your joy, thereby expanding your social circle, which the only reason to use a dating app is because it expands your social circle. So if you apply that to joy building, you're doing the function of a dating app IRL. Which is meeting new people. That person at the pottery class could invite you to their birthday party, and then their cousin's guitar teacher comes to the birthday party, and then like, oh my God, that's the love of my life. So joy building is really important. I recommend people make a list of 5 to 10 things to do this month outside of their house that would bring them immense joy. It doesn't have to cost money. It can be going to a park and meeting new people. Could be a free yoga class in your area. Could at the park. Could be a pottery class. Could be one of my clients was like, I want to do a neon making class because I've always wanted to. And she met so many hot men.
Neon making? Sorry, what does that mean?
Neon make. I mean, it's making neon, making a neon sign.
Cass,
Isn't that
Yes.
sexy?
are we making neon?
Yes, because you need one too. We've been talking about how you need a replacement neon sign. So
I
that
know.
feels kismet.
Aligns.
I didn't
Aligns.
even know that you could do that without being a neon professional.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like glass blowing. Not that I don't know anything about neon making, but like it's something you could learn how to do,
Yes.
you know?
cool.
But pursuing your joy, 5 to 10 things outside your house, creative problem solving mode. You can come up with them with your co-conspirator. You can also go solo. That's a huge thing for a lot of my clients is like the fear of going out solo and reading a book at a bar. Once you overcome that fear and take that messy action, it's all up. It's like all downhill from there in terms of ease of trying new things, getting messy, ditching perfectionism, just trying new shit. That guides me to the third and final step of in-person dating. Eye contact. Saying
Ouch.
hello. Trying it. Being messy. If it's going to be awkward. If you prepare for it to be awkward and you know I'm willing to feel anything to be with you, there's nothing that you could say, do, or feel that would make me want to stop being your friend. If you can say that to yourself, which are 2 thoughts by Simone Soul, who's a great coach that I admire, then you're unstoppable, right? If you're willing to feel awkward or if you're willing to feel your way through shame, you're fucking unstoppable, period, in your love life and everywhere. So in-person dating requires messiness. And there's nothing more messy than eye contact, nothing more awkward than eye contact when somebody doesn't want to make eye contact and then you look away and then you feel like, oh my God, why did I think that I could look at them that way? Humans desire connection. And if you center your essence-based preferences and really center the kind of human that you want to end up with, isn't it true that they are also going to be so excited that you looked their way? Isn't it true that they're going to be so excited that you went up to them and said hello? Isn't it true that they're going to co-create the right date with you? You don't have to do all the emotional labor when you say hello. You don't. If you ask somebody out, it doesn't fucking matter. With the right person, they're going to co-create dates and the relationship with you. So center that instead of centering the worry or fear that you're going to look ridiculous or you're going to flirt with a married person. When you find out they're married, say, okay, thanks, bye. Like, just show up and be awkward and connect.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fuck, you make it sound so exciting.
It can be. It can
Yeah.
be. That's why I like making this as fun as possible. I made a bingo card in my book at the end of chapter 8 that makes IRL dating like possible and kind of like a game. And it has all these action steps of like make eye contact with 3 cuties, say hello to 3 cuties this week. And you can like check the boxes throughout the book.
That's so
Do
cute.
it.
I love that. I think I get so scared of the awkwardness and the fumbling through
Yeah.
and the rejection as well
Yeah.
that the only way I've learned to like shield myself from that and then therefore remove myself from any potential good or bad interaction is to assume 1, they're not interested, 2, they're taken. And that's how I like do it these days, which I think has also changed my complete attitude towards dating, is that I've been out of the game for a minute and I'm scared of the messiness that I just assume I'm already out and I don't like tap in.
Yeah.
And I'm not fucking down, like you're saying.
So what do you want to do about it?
I want to be bold, but it just sounds so scary to do it.
Yeah. What is your brain going to say about you if you try and it doesn't work out once or twice?
I feel like it tells me that my partner like isn't here. And I'm not at all. A little bit. Like that's like the deep, loudest voice is that like you're a person that you've made up in your head that you think you could spend the rest of your life with, like just might not be on this planet this time. And so
This time, like there's another life and you're going
Like
to
there's
meet
another
the next
life, and maybe I've met him before, and maybe I've already had my time.
Okay.
It gets cosmic.
Okay. So your human brain is doing a very human brain thing, which is it's over. Pack it up. It's over. Let's get the cats. Let's bring a cozy. Let's do a hygge redecorating. And let's just have a good ass time in our house.
Yes.
And that's fun. Can be really fun. But here's the deal. You haven't experienced everything that you will experience in your life. You don't know everything. And that's so tough for a high achieving, recovering perfectionist feminist like me who wants to figure shit out as a way to validate my existence on this earth, that I figure things out. So if your identity is wrapped up in high achievement, then this can be really difficult because it requires admitting that you're going to learn something new. Much more vulnerable to admit, like, I could be wrong. But that's where you get to start.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, hey, thought. It's that dating, detox from dating worry will really like kickstart that journey of like acknowledging the thoughts as they happen. And we can just be like, okay, I'm having the human thought that didn't work out, and it means that there's nobody on this earth for me. How human of me. That's a really hard human thought. It's not a fact. I get to choose again. I choose like maybe that just wasn't my person. In fact, it wasn't. Maybe I'm for the few, not for the many. Maybe that was just one. If you think about, I think about like a Brooklyn warehouse party, and there's like so many people. I live in Brooklyn. There's so many thousands of people, and your body would know when you went into that space. Let's just say they're all single, and they all are in the range of age that you're looking for. You go into that party, and you look around, and your body would instinctively know, like, I'm really only attracted to like a small percentage of this 1,000 people. And then your body would be like, I can only talk to this small percentage of that small percentage until I need to go home. Your brain wouldn't say after those interactions, I'm a failure. What I want isn't possible because the people at this party weren't the people that I wanted to marry. It's just like, oh, not here at this party right now.
Yeah. Not here at this party. I feel like that's a really good thing to tell myself.
Yeah, not here, not this party. Oops. Yeah. Yuck. Let's go home. It sucks to be rejected. And also, like, it doesn't mean it's so hard to make this neural pathway happen, but like, it doesn't mean anything about you. It really doesn't. It just means they weren't your person. Right. And that, like, bye.
Bye.
I think the goal is to become unbothered with your blesses and releases. Instead of obsessing over like, why did they say no? Is it not possible? Am I asking for too much? Instead of doing that, just being like, okay, that individual was not right for me. Bye.
And that's a release, you're saying? So then what if you want to go more into blesses and releases? What did that mean?
I think that it can go one of two ways. If you if it was like a good connection and you're just like, I'm not feeling it, and maybe they are, you can bless and release, and that like, I bless this conversation. I acknowledge that we had a nice time chatting. I'm blessing it and I'm releasing it, like catch and release, like bye. On the other hand, if you were rejected or somebody was unkind or like whatever, the bless and release is really like acknowledging, like, I'm proud of myself for showing up. I'm acknowledging what I'm bringing to the table, and I release this. And it takes a while, that practice. But I also think you need to bless and release your exes as well from whether or not you believe what you want is possible in the future. It's another way to bless and release.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I could relate to that. Yeah. Well, you've mentioned it a couple times. So if we're at the stage where it's like, not this party, okay, again, not this party, you've said, thank you more, please, a couple times. So could you go into how we could use that and what that means?
Absolutely. So it's a scientifically backed way to get your brain on board with the fact that what you want might exist / probably exists. Okay? / does exist. You're going to get there, but you got to start with the baby step thought instead of like jump into the like aggressive opposite. Okay. Thank you more, please. So I came up with this when I was really struggling in my business and my life. I felt like I was really frustrated with where I was at. I felt stuck. I felt like no change was happening. I was really struggling. And I knew that gratitude was important. And I'm rolling my eyes. It's like, okay, fucking gratitude. I love Bowen Yang. One of his I Don't Think So Honeys a year ago or something with the Las Culturistas podcast was I don't think so, honey, gratitude. I'm sick of trying to be grateful. And I just really resonated with that. Because when you're in the throes of a difficult time, sure, gratitude is powerful. Sure, yeah, it does help. And sometimes you're like, stop telling me to fucking be grateful for like what I have. I want something that's not here yet. That's so difficult. Mm-hmm. So I was frustrated with the practice of gratitude. And I had this image in my head of Oliver Twist coming up to the guy at the orphanage and being like, please, sir, I want some more. This like begging introduce, like, please give me a sign that what I want is possible. And I knew that wasn't going to work. That wasn't powerful. That was assuming that I was a victim. That was assuming that I was at the mercy of someone else and something else that I wasn't in control of. And I was like, I know that I'm fucking powerful. I know I can create cool things. So one day, and I didn't come up with this phrase, it was in the ether, I think, like a big magic, kind of like it existed. It just sort of came to me like, thank you, gratitude, with the more please, audaciously. Not like, thank you, more please, like Oliver Twist. No, but like, thank you, confident, grounded, gratitude, more please, audacious. I want more of this. Please and thank you. Thank you, universe. Let's go. Thank you, more please. So then I started to notice like, thank you, more please moments, like a client, joining us and getting the most incredible results. Thank you, more please. Having my first 6-figure launch in my business. Thank you, more please. Like being able to pay off some of my debt with my income that felt really revolutionary because I had been like very tight on money for many years, building my business like brick by brick. Thank you, more please, to a little more abundance. Thank you, more please. Thank you, more please. The more I did it, the more evidence I saw around me that what I wanted was happening, the more I got excited, the more I was motivated to keep going. Then I started coaching my clients on thank you, more please. And they started to notice hotter people. They started to have more hope in their daily lives. They started to go on dates. They started to shoot their shot IRL because they were in the practice of getting their brain on board with evidence that what they wanted existed. It wasn't toxic positivity. It wasn't saying, shut up, fearful brain. It was saying, hey, let me be compassionate toward you and let me go outside and see what might exist outside of my house. So it's Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, or red car theory, which is a theory that says that, if you're shopping for a red car, your brain's going to see more red cars, not because more red cars exist, but because our brains, that which we pay attention to, expands in our awareness. It's not that what you want doesn't exist. It's that you haven't been gathering the right data yet because your brain has been in confirmation bias mode saying, it's not possible, gathering data to support that thought because your brain wants to be safe and right. Thank you, more please is a way to go outside your house and say, let me look today, because Lily dared me to on the Honey Do Me podcast. Let me look for a tiny sliver of evidence that what I want exists. A cute, flirty interaction, a cutie exiting a therapy office. Thank you, more please, out loud and often. I dare if you do it for 1 week, you're going to feel hopeful as hell.
Oh, that's so cool. And it it makes so much sense, but you saying that with the red car theory, like I've been doing that as a kid, since like, you're like, oh, yellow car, red car. Like, oh my gosh, now that I'm noticing all of these cars, it's like, of course, that's been a phenomenon that we've experienced forever, and applying it to what you're looking for in life or in dating.
Yeah.
Duh. Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you, more please.
Thank you.
It works.
Fuck. I want to do that all the time. Now I need to go outside.
I would recommend.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That just feels so encouraging.
I'm so glad. Yeah. I'm so glad. Makes me happy. I mean, this is possible. Like, this is figure outable. I think that that's the sort of baseline, is like, you're going to experience new things in your life if you're open to it. So let's fucking go.
Yeah. Let's fucking go. You approach it with such like a let's fucking go attitude. And that's, I think, what I connect with the most out of this like dating conversation is it's not the toxic positivity. It's not the other things that are circulating online. I don't know. It's just like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking do it. And
Let's fucking go. Like, let's center your desire as evidence that it exists instead of centering men, instead of centering like the people who let you down, or instead of centering the good enough. Center your desire as evidence that it exists. Like the Wright brothers, like nobody had flown a plane. They had a desire to fly a plane. They went after it. Their desire was evidence that it existed. Same with your love life.
Like the Wright brothers. Of course I'm like the Wright brothers. That makes so much more sense now.
I'm glad we figured that out.
Me too. Damn. Well, let's say that we're now dating. Okay. What are your favorite fall date ideas since we are on the cusp of fall? What are your favorite little activities to do with someone that you found to hang out with?
I think it's site specific, region specific, right? I'm in the Northeast, I'm in New York. So like, let's go apple picking. Let's go to a cider donut, you know? But I think in general, it doesn't really matter the season. It matters the joy building plan. Right? So like if on your desire plan is I want to go on a long coffee walk with somebody and go to an old fashioned record store and like have a coffee and like have our sunglasses that like cast the vision for this Saturday. Our sunglasses are like pushing my sunglasses are pushing my hair back and I kind of look like Chessie from Parent Trap and I'm walking around with my coffee and we're buying a book and you know like cast the vision for that joyful as fuck day and then make it happen, whether solo, whether with a date that you attract, or whether with a friend. Go make it happen. So I would say like cast the vision, define your joy building plan, and go do it.
Chessie from Parent Trap, that's the perfect example in the energy I've been trying to emulate since the 90s.
I mean, get a chamois shirt and a pair of khaki pants that are a little loose fitting, and there you go. Couple of long layers in the hair. Yeah. Almost a Rachel. Not quite.
Not quite, because it's more manageable than a Rachel. I've tried. It doesn't work. I love that suggestion because I feel like time and time again we've asked like good date idea questions, and I don't know if we've fully gotten, I don't know, the best suggestions.
What are your favorite? I mean, I'm happy if you have specific questions about specific people or specific dates, happy to cast a vision with you. I just think it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I love
think that centering your desire instead of being like, it has to be a bar or it has to be this thing. Like, it doesn't have to revolve around alcohol if you don't want it to. It can revolve around coffee or tea. It can be a walk in the park. It can be a dog park moment. It can be a let's go to this food festival. It can be a do you want to go on this boat ride? I learned about it. I know it's a little bit intense, but like we could go on this like city tour on the boat around Chicago. I don't know.
That's perfect.
What's in your joy vision?
Yeah. I think Cass and I, we're both people that wake up kind of knowing the vibe of how we feel that day. I mean, most people are. And so if one day it's like emo rock band and the next day it's coffee on a Sunday morning, it's like, why wouldn't I center my activity around something that I'm feeling that day?
Absolutely. And depending on you just like ask for what you want for the date. Yeah. Be like, I've been thinking about this, want to make it happen. And if they're co-creating, if they're like going to be a good potential partner, they're going to be like, yes, that sounds good. And what about this time? And you can say, yes, that sounds good. What about this? Like, okay, this date. They're like, okay, yes, sounds good. I made a reservation already, right? That like yes anding will happen with the right people.
Yeah. That model just feels so joy-filled and aligned, and it doesn't feel like a checkbox that I feel like is associated with the very meh dating of like, okay, well, the first time we'll go get drinks and then we'll go get dinner, and it's like it all sucks. So it's like, why would you keep yourself on that side in that checkbox when like there's this other side that's like magical and exciting and fun and joy-filled and exactly what you want?
Yes, absolutely. One of my clients, Mishi, did this experiment where she put all of the photos on her dating profile were pictures of her eating foods that she loved, like silly eating, like having the most spaghetti, like all over, like silly, fun, silly. And it attracted this incredible man who was so like into her weirdness and into her, that's what I'm talking about. It's just like putting out there what you want. I have a client who does a very Halloween specific dating profile every Halloween that is so weird and fun. And like, it doesn't have to just be a dating profile. That's just one example of like, what would make this look like on your terms if there were no rules?
Yeah.
There were no rules. I feel like that's the key.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I think that that's another thing that gets tied up in my brain, at least with dating. It's like, I don't want to go through the charade of drinks for an hour and a half. And then we do a date that's maybe 2.5 hours and it's dinner and it's like eating in front of them. And maybe you don't really feel comfortable eating in front of new people. I don't know. All these things where it's like, but if you joy build it and you find people that are like, let's fucking go, then you're going to have a good time regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much cooler, so much better of an approach. God. Cass, do you have anything else or how you?
I think you hit it all on the head and I didn't even know what the head was before this interview. Is there anything we didn't touch on?
She said.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I don't do it enough to know what it is at this point. But is there anything we didn't touch on that you want to make sure we cover before we close out?
No.
Amazing.
I'm grateful for this conversation. It's so fun.
Oh, we had the best time. Where can our listeners continue connecting with you after this episode?
You can buy my book anywhere books are sold. Shout out to indie booksellers we love. You can also walk into your local Barnes & Noble. It's probably there. Thank you, more please. And you can get a really juicy bonus if you get it and then go to datebrazen.com/book. I have a podcast listening guide where I outline like the 10 top dating issues that I see people facing and exactly which episodes of my podcast, the Date Brazen podcast, to listen to like solve that issue pretty quickly. So datebrazen.com/book. You can also follow me at Date Brazen on Instagram and TikTok. You can listen to my podcast, the Date Brazen podcast. I have over 200 episodes, and you can work with me and learn more about that at datebrazen.com. I have a program called Main Character Dating, which is so joyful. And I have a mastermind called Main Character Life, which is also so fucking joyful.
See what we mean about the date idea? It's just like sometimes people answer our questions that we think will go one way, and then they give us their perspective, and it's just like, oh, fucking duh. Like, of course I should do things that I want to do when I wake up in the morning, because maybe that'll be an authentic way to meet people that I'm interested in.
Right. Maybe you make authentic connections when you do things you authentically want to be doing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Weird. I was talking to a friend of mine who's single and dating, and she was like, I started having so much more fun when I went into dates as like the third date, fourth date me, not going in as someone who's asking like questions that I don't really care about or that I can learn quickly in 30 seconds. It's like I just went in with like my attitude and my like preferences for whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
She's just like, it was really cool the way that she said it. It's like, just go in being you, which is how I feel Lily instructed us with dates too.
That's good advice. I like it. All right,
thank
I'll
you.
use it.
You'll use it. So thank you so much, Lily, for coming on the podcast. And thank you to our honeys for hanging out.
You can head on over to Apple Podcasts to rate, review, and subscribe to Honey Do Me. You can leave us a written review, rate us on Spotify, watch on YouTube. If you ever have an episode suggestion or a question for a guest, you can go to the link in our bios and submit it there. You can also email us at honeydomepodcast@gmail.com. And we will share those in our solo episodes. We have continued to get some wild emails. One,
unless you say you don't want us to. It's not like
Oh,
exclusively.
yeah. No. If you're like, this is so private.
Yeah, I just want to chat. We won't do that. But if it's fair game, then we would love to answer it in a way that feels easiest.
It will always be anonymous. We even keep the creepy people anonymous.
Yes.
So,
oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week for more good shit.
Sure will.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.